Welcome to Coleman Nation Show. This is Michael Coleman. And today's episode, we're going to find out if you're trying to build an organization, trying to build a company, who are the best people to recruit and why, and what are some tips to make sure that you hire the most effective people for your organization on the next episode. Here we go. So you're trying to build an organization and you're trying to build a company. And obviously the thing that you want to be able to do is make the company successful. Well, a company is only successful as the people that you're building that company with and the people that you have a chance to be able to attract your organization and the talent that you're able to recruit and enroll, as far as your vision of building for the future. I think that as an organization, you want to be able to attract the best people. And when I say this is because there's obviously people that you can recruit and bring into your organization that are going to be a tremendous detriment to your organization. Why? Because they're going to be unproductive. They're not going to be aligned. They're going to be moving in a different direction. They're not going to be focused. Maybe they're going to be a little bit incompetent. And these are things that you kind of want to root out right at the gate, right? Right out of the gate, you want to be able to make sure that you have the best talent pool with the highest chance of success for whatever it is that you're, recruiting them for. I will tell you a couple of stories as we go into this, but finding the best talent pool today, whether you're building a company or you're starting your own business or your own organization, like what are those people that you want to be able to have come in? There's some specific things that I'm looking for when I'm trying to build an organization and have a company that's going to be on target for the highest level of success with whatever it is that I'm doing. The first thing that you need to sort of look at is when you're recruiting people, I think that you should be able to have a period of time where you're kind of like test driving the relationship. And what is that? That's your probationary period, right? If you have a period of time where you're bringing someone on board, and by the way, whether if it's like a traditional job 9 to 5 and you're recruiting someone, you want to make sure that this person is going to be able to, to do the things that are, they're being tasked with. I remember when I first got started in one of my jobs when I was in the technical field, I worked at a software company. I was on a 90-day probationary period, and it was just basically, hey, listen, it's like either one of us can walk away from it and no hard feelings. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool, actually. But, let's say that you're building your own company or home-based business or something along those lines. What do you want to do? You want to be able to, attract and recruit people that are going to give you the highest level of success. And so by having that probationary period, it gives you, and again, in my mind, like let's say that you're running a real estate company or an insurance agency or something like that, and you're trying to bring people in, typically speaking, these guys are independent contractors. You don't know who's going to be successful. You don't know what levels of, sort of desire or hunger they're going to bring to the table. And so are there some things that you're looking for? Yeah, absolutely. But for the next, X amount of time, let's say 30 days. For the next 30 days, I'm going to sort of onboard you into the company. I'm going to show you the ropes. I'm going to teach you the trade. And your job in that 30 days is to be an absolute sponge, right? I want to see that you have a high level of desire. You want to be able to win. And I'm going to give you all of my attention and all the concentration and all my knowledge. And this is almost like an apprenticeship period, like 30 days or whatever the time period is. You're going to go to work and I'm going to help to mentor and train you and teach you. And during this period of time, this is going to be the period that almost like an apprenticeship, your job is to get as much information and guidance and knowledge and understanding out of me in the next 30 days. The reason why is after that 30 days, a new crew is going to be coming in, right? A new sort of quote unquote graduating class is going to be starting. And I'm going to have to focus on them for that 30 days. So what does this do? This gives a very compressed time frame of, mentorship. And I say, listen, I'm not going to, leave you hanging. I'm going to be mentoring you long into the future. But for the concentrated period of time in the very beginning, this next month is very, very critical to our success. So what does that do? I'm now able to, give focus to a singular individual or group of individuals right out of the gate. And there's a deadline and a time frame with expectations for us to be able to move to the next thing. So that's one of the things that I'm looking for. But now let's talk about, who who are the people and what are the things that we're looking for as far as someone that's coming on board, to my organization or into a company. The first thing that I'm looking for is I want to see that the person is positive and upbeat. Like right away, like let's say that someone's coming in and the first thing that they do is complain about something, like automatically, boom. I'm like, okay, you already have a mark against you. Now I'm going to give people the benefit of the doubt. Let's say, they're coming in and this is their first experience and whatnot. I think that people should be given, the benefit of the doubt and like, let's see what you're made of, as far as, coming into an organization and what are the contributions that you have. They may have a particular skill set. They may have some, particular talent that you hired them for or that they were recommended to you for. But that's the first thing that I'm looking for is this person positive and upbeat? And how can you tell that? How can you tell that when someone comes in? It's realistically, it's how do they make you feel the first time that you meet them, right? And this is the concept of it, is that do they have sort of like a forward energy when they're meeting you? Are they like reserved and quiet and shy? Which, by the way, that's not an indicator that someone is going to be an ill fit for your organization, is that they're shy. I was incredibly shy when I first, started working at the company where I'm at right now. And with my business partners, I was nervous, but the fact is that I was very open to, to meeting new people. I was open to making friends, in the organization that I was, coming into. And so I was just like, all right, I want to be able to contribute. And you can feel that. Does the person add energy to the room or do they suck energy out of the room? This is one of the things that you want to look at right out of the gate is, are they positive? Are they upbeat? Do they add energy? Do they take away energy? And I think that that's something that you can, sort of tell by first impressions. How is their handshake? What is their attitude? How do they hold themselves? When they're talking to you, are they speaking with a confidence? And we'll talk about that in a second. But that's really, sort of the first thing that I'm going to be looking for is, are they positive and upbeat? And you should be able to tell that right away. So the other thing is that, to kind of think about is when you're onboarding someone or someone's coming into your organization for the first time, you have to remember that when you're meeting them, that's the best version of themselves. Isn't that true? I remember when I went to go work in the software industry is like, this was really technically the first time that I'd ever had a job was working in the software industry. And I remember coming in and it was like, I wore my Sunday best. I knew that I was coming in for an interview. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Treating the receptionist, like all of these things. Like I was really trying to be on my best behavior. Now, it worked out. I wound up being at the company for over, I think close to or over a little over 10 years. So that was a great place. And I loved working there and it was awesome. But when I, my very first idea was that I wanted to make a really good impression. Now, I've seen the situation where someone makes a really good first impression and then they're total hot garbage. This is not something that you'd ever want to build an organization around or with. And so you're like, I don't know if I should have invested the time and energy in developing this person in particular. I think that it's important to remember that even though that's the first impression and it's generally the best impression, I'm always going to give someone the benefit of the doubt, and say, hey, listen, they might be nervous. They may not, be able to have their head together, but is going to be something that I'd be looking for is how do they make me feel? And what is that best first impression? The other thing that I'm looking for, they have a pretty good, emotional tone. Now, this is something that is going to be sort of evident as you're building that relationship, which is why I talked about a probationary period a little bit more is like, look, I want to get to know the person, and I want to know how do they handle themselves? Are they quick to anger? Are they apathetic? Are they someone that's relatively cheerful? Are they kind of bored? I see them on a regular basis. What's their kind of reaction to life? How do they interact with people? And so that emotional tone, I'm looking for someone that's, basically pretty interested in life, sort of cheerful, sort of upbeat, sort of positive. And that's going to tell me a lot because that's somebody that people in general, whether it's customers or coworkers, that's someone that they're going to want to be around, right? I think that that's a real leadership skill is that, someone that is apathetic about life, I think that's automatically repulsive. Someone that's always fearful and trepidatious about their approach to thing, That's not attractive, right? That's not something that's going to be like, oh, that's someone I want to be around all the time. Like, do they take responsibility for their life? Are they taking ownership of the things that they've, have happened to them? Those are things that wind up being attractive. And those are going to be the things that are going to attract, more customers. They're going to create a positive work environment. And so that positive, upbeat, but, having good control of their emotional tone, that is going to be something that I'm going to be looking for, right? I'll give you an example. This was something that happened to me, a little over a decade ago. I had a situation where I was referred to this girl who wanted to become one of the clients of, the company that I'd started and I work for right now. The second that I met her, the very instant that I met her, it was like when she walked in the room, boom, it was like this overwhelming energy that just kind of like filled the room. She was a person that, I kind of looked at, and it was almost like they just had this innate light, right? And she had that. Brightens the room and just made everyone around her better. Automatically, I was like, this is someone that I want to work with. This is someone that I think is going to be a tremendous asset to our organization. But the timing was bad because I had someone else that was in that role at that time. And so I was like, I really want her to fill this post, but I already have someone that's really good at it. And so we just weren't synced up. But it made such a huge impression on me that I was like, I really want to be able to work with this person in the future. Sure enough, a couple of years passed by, and the person that was in that role moved on to another role, very successfully, I might add. And the position opened up that I wanted for her to fill. And it was like, man, she's been with our organization for over 10 years, and she is awesome. Super reliable, super chillful, always brings energy to the organization. And I'm just telling you, emotional control, the full package, the whole thing. And she's been a tremendous, tremendous asset to our organization, right? And so I just will tell you, that is a really, good example. And we know these stories, they're all around us, the people that are really, have the ability to step up. So what's the second thing that I'm looking for when I'm sort of bringing someone on board into our organization, or that you should be looking for when, hiring for your company, is do they have reasonably decent communication skills? Now, I don't need someone to be like, a master orator and their, public speaking skills are off the charts and, all of that kind of stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying, do they have a relatively, sort of easygoing way about how they communicate to you? Can they take a concept and convey it to you? Are they willing to, if you didn't understand what they said, are they willing to be able to, communicate and like clarify their concepts of what they have? Or is it like, are they combative? Are they constantly negating the things that you're saying? Are they fighting back or giving you a lot of pushback? Are they giving you backflash? There is a complete difference, of someone that wants to be in good communication and someone that does not want to be in good communication. And you can see it. So again, I'm not looking for someone that is like, a master public speaker, but that they're pretty good. They can put some ideas and concepts into an email or onto paper, that they can, take a concept of what it is that, they're feeling or a project that they've got to do. Hey, are you enjoying this video so far? If so, make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, and leave a comment. Till then, let's get back to it. Here you go. The third quality that I'm looking for, and I think that this is really important, is this person teachable? Right? Do they have a desire to learn? Because I find that in any organization, what you're asking someone to do is you're asking them to come on board into an environment that they don't really know yet. They may have a skill set, they may have gone to school for that, or they may have had some experience prior. But the fact of the matter is that when someone comes into an organization, they are in a position where they have to learn, even if it's just the fundamental culture and understanding of what the company is and does with fresh eyes, right? You don't want to have someone that comes in and says, oh, I already know that. Or let me tell you how we used to do things at my old company. Or this is the way that I already know how to do this and I'm already good at it. Whenever someone says to me, like, I already know how to do that, or this is something that I've already done, automatically, what does that show me? That they have a lid on what they can learn. Their cup is full. The only way that you can, learn new things is if you're willing to empty your cup and go, you know what? I can receive new information. So that's one of the things that I'm looking for is someone that has a desire or a willingness to learn new things. And I think that is a tremendous asset when you're building a company. What are some things that you can ask or engage upon in order to be able to find out whether or not someone in that sort of mindset? The question that I'll ask someone that's new, that's coming on board, or a potential new recruit, and as someone that owns a company, these are some of the questions that you might want to ask in an interview, is what was the last book that you read and what did you get out of it? What was a podcast that you listened to and what do you feel is like, the thing that you most relate to with that person or, that channel? I'm looking, are there any courses that you've taken, after you graduated from college? Are there any courses that you've taken, or what are some of the things that you do to work on your own personal improvement? These are great questions that are, fantastic for job interviews. And so I would just tell you that, when you're interviewing someone, like that's something that I want to know. Are there some audiobooks? Like maybe they go, I don't really read that much. I said, well, do you like audiobooks? Well, yeah, actually, there's a couple audiobooks that I listen to. Okay, great. What was the last audiobook that you listened to and what did you get out of it? And they say, oh, well, I listened to so-and-so and, this is what I got out of it. It was a great book and, and all that kind of stuff. That automatically lets me know that there's someone that I can at least engage with to be able to go, okay, look, well, if you could read this book, if you could, sort of take, this approach to this, are you willing to, learn from your mistakes and change course or change direction? And that's going to be something that's a tremendous asset to, to our organization or to any company, that's looking to be able to expand. So those are some of the questions that I would ask, in order to be able to figure out whether or not that's someone that wants to learn and grow. The fourth thing that I would want to be able to, to look at if someone is coming on board, and this one's really important, and especially for someone that I have high expectations of sort of like, moving up in the organization and commanding a greater influence, within the team and sort of like, looking at some of the expansion, moving out and expanding an organization. This one is really, really important is what is your past track record of success? I'm looking for someone that has done things successfully in the past. And by the way, it doesn't even have to be in the industry or for the position that I'm looking to fulfill. Here's the reason why. My opinion is that people that know how to win and have won at things before, it's like a muscle that may have atrophied just from lack of use or because they're in an environment that doesn't elicit or pull that skill set out of them. And so what I'm looking for is I want someone to say, you know what, this is what I've done in the past. Like the question that I'll ask is, what have you done in the past that you're most proud of? What's the thing that you've created or done in your career or, in your past that you really feel was like a huge contribution or that really changed the course of maybe an organization or something like that? And what are some of the common answers? Some people say, oh, my kids, that's the thing that I'm most proud of is my kids and raising my kids, which by the way, that's an awesome answer, right? But I would dive into it a little bit more and say, okay, so like, well, what lesson do you feel like you've, taught your kids that you think is going to be helpful for them in the future? What is this doing? This is establishing a little bit of understanding about the person and getting to know them a little bit. I think that that's really important to know the people that you're going to be working with. I think that a lot of times in corporate America, especially, we're taught don't get too close to your people because they're going to wind up, you might have to fire them someday. To me, what am I looking for? Is like, I'm looking for people that we can build an organization. Now, I own the company. And so this may be a little bit of a different, approach to it, but I want to be able to, find out, okay, well, is this person that I can build with in the future? And that's why understanding whether or not they've accomplished things in the past are really good as far as giving you some insight into that in the future. Case in point. Let's say that I asked someone, I said, okay, well, what's the thing that you're most proud of? And they say, oh, well, I wound up being a champion ice skater growing up. I took first place in regionals and I was really just over the moon. Or they go, I was part of a Little League World Series championship team when I was 11 years old. Or I wound up completing this project when I was in college. Or there was some big project at one of my other companies that I worked at that everyone was very proud of. And I said, well, how did you feel about that? How did you feel about your contribution? Oh, man, it was one of the best days of my life, when I got thanked and, and they rewarded me. And here's why. Because now, if that person had wanted something, no matter what it is, I know that I can re-engage that core muscle group of winning, of being a champion, and then figuring out how to get them to engage in whatever endeavors we're attacking right now so that they can be a champion with what we're doing. A winner knows how to win. And sometimes they just need to be reminded. And if you can do that, I think that you're on track for a tremendous amount of success for the future. So just to summarize, the things that I'm looking for is that they are positive and upbeat. They have good emotional control. They're teachable and they're willing to learn, right? And again, you can ask questions that are along those lines. They're reasonably decent communicators and you can kind of engage with them. Again, they don't have to be a master, but these are just some of the fundamentals, and that they have some sort of past track record of success. If you can sort of like answer those questions for yourself, either in the beginning or in the onboarding process or through sort of that, that probationary period or during an apprenticeship period that you're trying to, teach them some sort of trade or skill within your organization, I think that it's going to give you a tremendous amount of focus of who you can work with, and then kind of guide them through that process. If they have these sort of like, the underpinnings of sort of these qualities, I think they're really going to be able to have someone that you can build your organization with that's going to bring a tremendous amount of value. So I think that these are some of the things that you should be looking for. And again, by the way, as someone that you may be going out and trying to engage or be successful, in some endeavor or a company or a job or a business that you're starting or going into partnership with, these are some of the things that you could potentially be looking at focusing or fixing or improving in yourself. Is like, hey, how could I be a better communicator? Hey, how could I wind up, being a more teachable person? Maybe I should pick up a book. Maybe I should, focus on some of these skills. Man, what were some of the things that I, was winning at in the past? And is that a muscle that I could re-engage? Like, do I have any hopes and dreams? Are there some visions that I have for myself personally? These are all questions that you would be able to, sort of ask, and that will make you a greater asset to the organizations that you're building or that you're becoming a part of. And these are some of the things that are going to lend to your success, both as someone that's a builder or someone that is working within an organization to just make it better. And I think that, people that are employers or business owners, these are the things that they're looking for. And I think that that'll give you some insight on how to win, both as, someone that's joining a team or someone that's building teams. So did you enjoy the video? If you did, make sure that you like it. And if you want to, make sure that you leave a comment, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so that you make sure that you don't miss any of our future content. Thanks a lot. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.